Titli is a film about a young boy who wants to run away from home, from an oppressive brother. That's what it starts out as. But as this guy, this young man, does all sorts of things to make good his escape. He plots, plans, lies, cheats. He slowly starts to realize that he's becoming almost exactly like the guy he hated most, which is his elder brother. And it's about what he does with that realization, and how he sort of realizes that there are probably some circular patterns playing within a family. So from starting out as a film about oppression, it ends up as a film about circularity. It just, I mean, it stems from my own personal experiences with my father. A slightly difficult relationship growing up. He had his own idea about who he wanted me to be, and I was young and I was rebelling or whatever. So it, I mean, the film has revealed itself as it has gone on. So I started out wanting to borrow from those experiences and make a film about oppression. But as we went on and we wrote the film and we sort of talked to all the characters, we started going deeper and deeper into every character. We sort of found reasons for who was doing what, and what were really the ghosts that were functioning between this family of five. So I don't really call it autobiographical in that sense, and I've been asked this question before now. So I call it auto story. So it begins from a story that was just mine, but I think as more collaborators came onto the project and came in with their experiences, it's just such a universal sort of problem, that everyone on the crew, whether be it the screenwriter or the DP or the editor or the sound designer, everyone had experienced it. And I think as we sort of went through all the key processes, all those individual experiences came together to create a bigger universal experience, which sort of leads you into the film through the eyes of any of the five principal characters. And I think the strength of the film is you can watch it from the eyes of any of these five people and make your own story and sort of get in, and there are several ways to watch the film. It's not like he sat down. I mean, if anything, he actively discouraged me from getting into filmmaking. He's an actor, director himself, and his own experiences as through his professional life, as someone who struggled with a voice of his own. I think he was probably not too keen on me being a filmmaker, and there was a phase. I mean, it's strange. It's not an easy answer because I was working with them as a kid. I started acting at the age of 12. At a point, I was even forced to, work with him as an assistant, and I started hating working on television. And there was a period of about 3 or 4 years where I said I'm never going to do anything related to film or TV. But I think then somewhere, as around 19 or 20, I just discovered another cinema. I just discovered world cinema. I started watching several other kinds of films which made me hungry, and I said, oh, okay, so there's this cinema too, and it really attracts me, and I think I would want to tell stories like that, and I think from there the hunger sort of got into me, and I decided really early on that I want to get into film school, that I actually would want to spend those 3 or 4 years readying myself or baking myself, and getting to learn more about the history of cinema, because if I really did want to go on and do something different or whatever, something that had not been attempted before, I really needed to know what had been done and who had done and how it had been done. So I went to film school. I spent those 4 years learning, just watching a lot more films and honing whatever, making my own films at film school, and yeah, I think from there it just grew. I started assisting the Bakar, and it's just sort of grown from there. To an extent, yes. I think as a filmmaker, I find myself interested more and more in bending a genre, in trying to twist it around and finding something new in it. So in any case, I think consciously as a filmmaker, as a screenwriter, along with Sharat, my co-writer, we were always trying to twist this crime thriller and find whatever whatever there was to the core of this boy wanting to escape. So in that sense, it didn't stem out of a rebellion against Bollywood, but it did stem out of a deep desire and hunger and need to find where the story truly lies beyond the superficial sort of needs and desires of a character. So I think, I mean, yeah. So I don't know if I answer your question, but I don't think it was a conscious rebellion against Bollywood. It's just we were just trying to find the most organic story possible that is out there. We were just trying to reach out to it, and I think that's where the screenplay sort of stems from. That's where the crack of the story, the core of the story that we are telling comes from, the rigor of it. And I think then just my concerns as a filmmaker while shooting it, while editing it, are defined by the cinema that I like, which happens to be a different voice, a different language from what Bollywood might be, and hence it feels like it's something that is driven towards wanting to do something that's not happening in Bollywood. Whereas it's not as simple as that. It's not a conscious decision. It's just that, I mean, that's probably it's the most natural kind of cinema that it's the most natural thing that comes to me. I've been really fortunate. I've done this first film. I've gotten to make it exactly the way I wanted to. So it's been a good journey so far. I'm now developing the next one. So we'll find out. I'm pretty much grappling with the same questions myself now as I begin to write this next one. I think it all finally. I don't think there is any necessary seeding ground unless you really want to. So I think it just comes down to desire, to personal desire. What kind of cinema do you want to do? And I think there's no taking away from a filmmaker's desire. I think it all sort of boils down to that. So yes, it is tough if you want to do something, if you constantly want to keep doing something that's not Bollywood, and it's a valid industry that is a parallel function, and it will sort of hold its own ground. It's just up to this whole bunch of new filmmakers that are coming up. I think there are quite a few interesting first films coming up. It's now up to the second films. We'll only know now, once everybody gets into their second films, who's willing to cede what ground. But I think it's a personal choice. It can't. I don't think we should even want to attribute or even try to attribute it to an external force. I think it's every filmmaker's personal choice.